What's up guys, it's Crystal here. I'm back with another review video for you guys, and before I get started I do want to mention a slight disclaimer that this is a sponsored video. I was reached out by an Australian skincare company. They asked me if I wanted to try out their best-selling product and I said sure in return for a 100% honest video. So here we are, and that company is called Hey Bud, and this is their, whoops, where is it? This is their Australian hemp clay mask. They also sent me a mask brush to go along, which is very sweet and kind of them. So a little bit about the mask. There is 120 grams or 4.23 ounces of product in it. It does retail for $59.99 Australian dollars, which converts to about 42 US dollars. Now the company does ship for free worldwide. It is 100% vegan, as well as it being 100% cruelty-free. The ingredients that mainly make up the mask is hemp oil, avocado oil, goji berry extract, kaolin clay, and matcha. All of the ingredients are high in antioxidants, vitamins, fatty acids, proteins, collagen, and much more. So by including all of these ingredients in the mask, it's promoting improvement to complexion, it boosts blood circulation, it also boosts skin cell regeneration, it protects the skin from UV damage and wrinkles, reduces irritation, inflammation, and acne. All in all, the Hey Bud Hemp Clay Mask helps rejuvenate the skin, making it brighter, and reduce acne by detoxifying and unclogging the pores, as well as tightening and purifying them. This is meant for all skin types, but highly recommended for those with oily or acne-prone skin. This mask is also gradually becoming one of the most popular masks on the market, and it is Australia's #1 hemp clay mask. So, before I move on to my first impression of the mask, and I'm sorry if the lighting gets like super bright and dark, the sun is just going in and out behind the clouds, but hopefully that's not a distraction. Anyways, before I want to roll the clip of my first impression of the mask, I want to briefly talk about how I use this mask. I'm not going to insert a clip of how I use it because it is going to be kind of shown in my first impression anyways, but the box and the jar does have very detailed explanation on how to use the mask, so you can either read that or just follow with me. But basically, after cleansing my face, you can either use toner or just go ahead and pat dry your face. I used to use toner after cleansing, but I noticed that the cleanser that I currently use, I don't really need a toner afterwards. So y'all, listen to your skin. If you need it, use it. If you don't, you don't have to. But I don't use toner as much as I used to anymore, so I just pat dry and then go in with the mask. If you do use toner, make sure that the toner is completely absorbed into your skin and your skin is dry. So when I apply the mask, I apply an even layer all over my face, minus the eyes. Always avoid the eyes. And I do use both my hands or the brush. Days where I don't want to get my hands dirty, I use the brush, but for some days I don't really care if I get my hands dirty, I'll use my hands, but most of the time it's going to be the brush. Anyways, after you apply the mask on, you want to leave it on for about 10 to 15 minutes. It depends how your mask dries onto your face, but once it's dry and ready to be rinsed off, you can either just straight up rinse it off, or like the instruction says, you can use a warm, wet towel to gently remove. So I tried both methods, and I can genuinely say that I enjoy using a towel more. You just have to be careful when you use a warm, wet towel because you don't want to cause abrasions on your skin or cause premature wrinkles. So you either want to do very, very gently when you remove the mask, or you use a microfiber towel. And what I do like to do is that I like to get the towel warm and wet, and I just lay it on my face, wait for about 10 seconds, and then like gently remove it, or take the mask off and rinse it off, because that will loosen the mask up, making it easier to clean off. So after I use the mask, I'll just go in with my normal skincare routine, which is usually either a serum and then a moisturizer, or straight up just a moisturizer. And I do use this mask only at night. I like to use it at night. Some people like to use clay masks during the day before they apply makeup, but I am not one of those people, and I use it at night solely because throughout the day, you know, your pores collect all that pollution, dust, things that are in the environment, and build up in your sebum. So I like to use the mask to help kind of detoxify that out at the end of the day. And you can use this, well, if you have oily skin, you can use this 2 to 3 times per week, or if you have dry sensitive skin, you could use it for 1 to 2 times a week. So the instructions are very detailed on the jar or the box. So I really like that about the products. Now that you guys know how to use the mask, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the clip of my first impression of the mask. Hey guys, so I am going to be using today the Hemp clay mask, the Australian hemp clay mask that cleanses and purifies the skin. And this is my first time trying it. I'm going to be using it with this brush that it came with. It's a very soft application brush that kind of resembles a foundation brush, but I'll be using these together. My face has just been cleaned, exfoliated, and it's dry. So you do want to use this on dry skin. So I'm going to go ahead and just open it up. And it kind of smells like Play-Doh, to be honest. And this is what it looks like. It's this really nice, soft pastel green shade. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it on my face. It's very smooth. It is something that you would expect a clay mask to feel like. And it applies and glides very nicely, especially with the brush. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna let it sit for 10 minutes. I can already tell that it's kind of starting to dry already on my face, especially if you're getting a thin layer. It's starting to dry, and I know it's gonna start tightening and then cracking up, but it does feel really soft to my face. So I'm just gonna let this sit for 10 minutes and I'll come back and let you guys know. Okay, so it's been like 13 or so minutes and I can't move my face. It cracks. There's some parts of it that I don't think fully dried. I think it's because these parts are a little bit thicker when I applied it. I noticed that a lot of my pores, if you can see right there, like if you have trypophobia, I'm so sorry. I have slight trypophobia, but I do want to point it out that these little dots, like where my pores are, that are kind of like showing through the mask, is basically the mask or the clay purifying and cleansing those pores. Those are my more troubled areas, especially around the nose. I won't go too zoomy on my nose. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it. So I finished rinsing my face off, and honestly, right off the bat, I can tell you that my skin actually looks brighter. When I was rinsing the remaining mask off, my skin felt a lot smoother and softer, and it actually feels pretty liberating. I don't know, I feel like my skin's been rejuvenated slightly. When the mask was on, it kind of felt soothing, but that's all I ever felt from it. I didn't feel anything extra coming from the mask. It just felt like a typical clay mask that was on my skin, and it didn't really have like a extra oomph to it. But now that I rinsed off the mask, I feel like my skin looks really rejuvenated, and I really like that. The camera is making the parts of my face a lot redder than it actually is. I don't know why, but these parts look a lot redder on camera, but in real life it's really not that red, and it's not irritated like it was before. It feels a lot more calm, and doesn't look as inflamed as earlier either, in my opinion, in person. But I am going to just finish up with my skincare and call it a day, but I will be continuing to use this mask twice a week for 2 weeks. So I have 3 more uses of this mask before I am going to give my final input. But so far, I do like the mask. I think clay masks are really good for purifying the skin of any skin type. I'll definitely come back after 2 weeks with my final opinion about this mask. All right, so now that you guys seen it here for my first impression, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my 2-week impression. And like I mentioned earlier, I only used the mask 2 times a week. So yes, I've only used it for 4 total times. And this is just my opinions that I collected after using it 4 times. So like always, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into the pros, or what I enjoyed about the mask. First things first, when you open the mask up, it has a very beautiful light green color to it, and the smell is what I noticed first, of course, to every product. And the smell is actually not bad. It's very subtle and it smells straight up like clay with a hint of a floral scent in there. Not an annoying smell at all. And like I said, it's subtle, so when you apply it on your face, it's not gonna punch you in the nose or anything, and it doesn't linger either. So I really like that about the mask. And while the mask is sitting on my face, I notice that it does definitely pull out the impurities and extra sebum from my pores. And how I can tell is that when it dries on my face and I look in the mirror, I am prone to blackheads around my nose. So I can tell that there's these dots on the mask where my blackheads usually are, or where the pores on my nose are. So I can tell that is the impurities and the extra sebum being pulled out from my pores and onto the mask. So that is my odd, satisfying moment. Now, after the mask is rinsed off, I noticed that it is very moisturizing. I never felt like any hydration was being stripped from my skin. None of the natural moisture of my face was being like ripped off with the mask or anything. My skin genuinely felt moisturizing. No pulling, tugging, tightening feeling at all. And after every time I rinse the mask off, my face is noticeably brighter. It's plumper. My pores are smaller. It even looks like my face, or the pores in general, are blurred. There's a reduction in redness, reduction in inflammation of my acne, and I also noticed that it really helps push stubborn whiteheads from under the skin out onto the surface, which makes it easier for me to get rid of them. Basically, my whole skin looked and felt refreshed every time I used this mask, which is the biggest thing for me. And also, it didn't really break me out. I don't really consider the whiteheads being pushed out from my pores as like it causing acne, because it's not really acne. It's been whiteheads that have been stuck under the skin for quite some time that won't come out, so that's not really breaking me out. But yeah, the most important thing about the mask is that my skin looked great, felt great, and it didn't break me out. I don't feel whole unless I mention some things that I don't enjoy about the mask or the cons, but it's so little, I could not really think of much. So one of the things that I noticed about the mask that I put in the cons list is that when the mask is drying on my face always gets really itchy or like super tight. Of course, that makes sense because it's a mask, it's a clay mask, it's gonna feel tight once it dries, but my face always gets really itchy on the edges where the mask stops, and I can't itch it because I would ruin the mask if I did that. So that I don't really look that forward to when I use the mask, but it's something I can live with because I understand that's how the mask is supposed to be. And the other thing that I can only think of to stick on the cons list is that it is quite messy to work with and to wash off. But like I mentioned about the previous con, is that it's a clay mask. That's just how it is. So those things I can live with. It's just the only two things I can think of, or the only things I can think of that I don't enjoy about the mask. It's like so minuscule, it's like not even that important. So basically, would I recommend this mask to anyone? Heck yeah, I would recommend this mask to anyone, whether you have dry skin, sensitive skin, oily skin, acne prone skin. I think this mask is great universally, and it doesn't discriminate to any skin types. I think it does its job. It really does help pull out impurities. Like I mentioned, my skin just looked really amazing and it felt amazing after I used it. So I would definitely recommend this for all my friends, all my families, all my viewers, you guys. I genuinely really loved using this mask. Because I only used it 4 times, I can't say if it really does reduce acne. So I'm gonna use it for another 2 weeks or 2 weeks and a half, like maybe 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and I might update my description box and say whether it does help reduce acne or not, because I can't really judge that as of right now. But for any of my friends out there that feel like the price on the mask is quite pricey, I understand there are some clay masks out there that are a lot cheaper, but you have to think about it. The ingredients are very top notch and the results are amazing. On top of that, it's free worldwide shipping from Australia to you. And I feel like the price is justified with the free shipping and with the ingredients, especially with the results that I received on my skin immediately after using it. I highly recommend you guys to check it out. Check out Hey Bud and try it out. This mask, super great. Like, I can't rave it enough. But anyways, I'm gonna try to stop the video here before I just keep keep going on and on and on about the mask. But if you still have any questions, definitely leave them in the comment section down below, or you can reach out to me on Instagram and I'll try my best to answer your questions. I hope you guys found this video really helpful. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!